Okay, we're going to show you a little bit about these 2017 bushing kits we've come up with. We're going to show you a little bit about what we think is wrong with the stock setup and what we've done to address it, and how we go about installing these. This bushing here is the stock setup for the top A-arm that has the small bushing towards the rear side of it. What they've done is made a bushing that presses into the arm, and then they've got these two sleeves that it rides on with the O-ring on it. And it's pretty much the same setup on all pivot points of the machine. But the problem we see with it is, obviously this is brand new. These have not been used. It's not a very good fit. I mean, there's play in it. Here's another one that's brand new, and there's quite a bit of play in it. And what's happening here is these O-rings are fitting fairly tight in this, making a good seal, but it's masking the looseness of the bushing in the pin. And then also, what's going to happen when these things wear, you're not going to really notice it as quick like you would on the old styles, because the O-ring is kind of a shock absorber, and eventually it's going to compress this O-ring to where this metal is going to be beating out your mounting points on your A-arms. So we don't like that design. We don't like the setup of it, so we decided to come up with something better. What you'll do on your front one, this is the small bushing. What you're going to do is this will be pressed in there, and there is also a snap ring on one side of it that's holding it in there. So what you'll do is take like a small screwdriver, and you'll pop this snap ring out. You get it out, and then the bushing will be in there, and you'll come from the opposite side and take a screwdriver or whatever and pop the bushing out of it, and then it'll be a clean hole, except there is a shoulder that's formed into the arm, and that's not a snap ring, that's just made into it, that stays in there. What you'll do, you'll take our bushing, and here it is, and you'll notice it has a shoulder on it. That will go in towards the step that's made into the tab. What we like to do is take and start it in by hand, and you can either use your vise right here to press it in, or you can use a rubber mallet. We like using a mallet. And you'll feel it bottom out, and that one's in. Okay. Now, on the other side that has the larger bushing, you'll notice it has, this will be your bushing in there, the stock ones, and you'll pop them out. There'll be one on each side. You'll pop those out. You'll notice it has a step in there on it too. There's a step made into the arm. That stays in there. On our bushing, it's two pieces, one on each side. It's going to have O-ring on one end of the bushing. What you're going to do is make sure this O-ring goes to the outside. So this will be this side right here. It'll bottom out. This will be the other side, and you want the O-ring on the outside of it. It'll look like that on that end. like that on that end. Here's the small bushing. And this is going to be the same for the rear A-arms on the 900S or General. You know, you're going to pop all your old hardware out. The new bushing is going to go in with the O-ring to the outside of each one of them. And what you'll do on these, you don't really have to grease these, but we like to. Since it doesn't have grease fittings, take your favorite grease, whatever waterproof grease or whatever you like, and you will pack it in the holes on all of them. After you do that, it'll come with the new pins. Basically the same process of putting in. There'll be a small one for the small one and a large one for the larger one. You'll start these in the best you can by hand, and you can either use the vise to squeeze it in, or you can use your rubber mallet. And there it is. Okay, we have a 2016-2017 900S General rear hub. We're going to show you how to install the bushings on this. Obviously you'll have to get your stock bushings out. They can be a pain sometimes, but they will come out. What you're going to do is get those out, and then you're going to have our new bushings that come in the kit. And what we tried to do is, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but we tried to put a little bit of a taper on it to aid in starting it into the hole. But you want to be sure to put the O-ring to the outside on all of them. And these, the bottom bushings are going to be larger, and also the steel pin that goes through it has a larger hole for a 12 millimeter bolt, and the top one is for a 10 millimeter bolt. But you'll see the difference in them in the kit. For demonstration, we're just doing the top one here. But you'll want to start it into the hole. Your hammer, rubber hammer, or you can use the vise to squeeze it in, whichever you prefer. We like to do it this way. And you'll feel it bottom out. When you'll hear a difference, and you'll feel a difference. Don't keep beating on it, because that's as far as it's going to go. And if you look at it from this side here, you'll see there's still a little bit of bushing that's sticking out past the edge, right there, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You want to take the other side, and you'll start it in like that with the O-ring to the outside. That's it. Okay, these do not have a grease fitting on them either. What you can do is take your favorite grease, grease it really good in there. It's got the O-ring seal to keep the grease in, dirt and mud out. Depending on how they manufacture these, we try to machine our bushings to where they have a decent fit for a wide tolerance that the OEM may have on these. Sometimes the pins, they may go in with a little bit of friction, or sometimes you may have to use your hammer or vise to push them on in. Either way is fine. It's going to work much better. It's going to be much tighter than this stock setup, where the brand new bushing has, you know, a lot of play in it. And that's basically it. You do the top with the smaller ones, the bottoms with the larger ones. Grease them, put your pins in, put your hub back on, you're ready to go.